of the Genesis. I'm here to unlock Congo Bongo. So I've already completed the first level with the first, with two of the characters. Now I'm using Axel to finish the job so I can unlock Congo Bongo. I'm playing on the hardest difficulty level, which means I am not messing around with this anymore. Not that I ever was. I consider myself a hardcore brawler guy. Big Final Fight fan, and this game was basically released as the Genesis's answer, the Mega Drive's answer to Final Fight. It's called Bare Knuckle back in 1990. Yuzo Koshiro soundtrack is in the background. It is in stereo, and for the sound, for the chip hardware they had to work with, it's pretty awesome. This is basically Koshiro's take on 90s dance music, you know, hip hop and R&B, blazing hip hop and R&B, a little bit of raw bass, maybe a lot of technotronic, maybe some snap. You hear a bit of that here. Ugh. And I'm pretty sure you can put the soundtrack to a lot of games and it would make the soundtrack better. On the play control side, kind of disappointing. I can jump over this guy and suplex them, which is the best way to clear out a crowd because you can also throw them over your head like that. But it's kind of hard to make contact with enemies when you do that, so I can't recommend that move too often for crowd control. I guess if you want to get an enemy out of your face, that's one way to kind of get them in the corner. But unlike Final Fight, the idea of throwing enemies into other enemies isn't very reliable. So you're pretty much reduced to your basic attacks and your jump kick here. It's not really a kick here. The other two characters have a kick. But in Final Fight, you had a regular kick that was a knockdown, and it wasn't a permanent move. It was essentially, it was like a jab. You press the button, and then you would be vulnerable as soon as the kick was released. But in this game, as soon as you press the jump kick button, it's a high priority attack until you land. Another move you had in Final Fight was holding down while in the air. If you hold down an attack, you could basically do either a body splash if you're Hagar, or you could do a knee attack if you were Cody or Guy. And you can use that to set up a massive combo. You could basically do a jumping knee attack followed by 2 punches or 3 punches, a grab. And that grapple attack is where you can really pile on damage. In this game, you only have 1 jumping attack. And there's no run in this game. There's no running attack. So your moveset is a bit more limited than I would have liked. There are a couple of moves where if you're grabbed from behind, you can attack your enemy and throw them out and kind of break out of the grapple. But, again, most of the meaningful moves are limited to your basic attack, your basic jump kick, and your grapple moves. And it's kind of hard to punch in 2 different directions compared to Final Fight. In Final Fight, you can basically do a machine gun punch. Attack both directions practically at once if you're really good. I didn't turn on the rapid fire attack because it's not that useful in this game. But I'll turn it on just for the heck of it. A second. But I'm new on the hard level, so I guess I don't want to cheat. You don't really need a rapid fire since like cheating in this game. In Final Fight, it practically was cheating because most people couldn't even get through your punches. Okay, these guys can get through your punches, but it's kind of hard to determine when they counterattack. See, like that, they'll get a cheap shot off if you're carrying a weapon, so that's annoying. And they'll run away, so you kind of have to catch them by punching them as they run away. So, because you see on the top of the screen, there's a timer there, so that's really annoying. Because enemies will run away from your punches. They won't really attack, they'll just kind of run away and then try to get in a cheap shot. Annoying, but it makes the basic enemies harder than in a typical game of Final Fight. Where most of the common enemies won't attack you unless they're in groups. Here it seems that they'll at least keep away from you long enough for them to kind of slip in a cheap shot or two. And there's no jumping spin attack like there is in Final Fight, so you can't break out of a enemy combo if you're stuck in the middle. Which is monumentally annoying. Don't even get me started on that. See, don't grab weapons. Enemies will beat you up. Oh, well, fair enough. And I'll figure out later if I can release a weapon if I don't like it. She's gone. Okay, the might as well mention this. The graphics aren't great. I mean, we're talking about a 1990s, first generation Genesis game. This bare knuckle game pretty much it shows its age. There's a bit more color in the neon signs you can see here, and in the grass and the fire hydrants. They kind of get around the limited color palette by making the street kind of a turquoise, same color as the street lights. So the contrast works, but it's not a particularly impressive game, even by Genesis standards at the time. I think if you were to look at a game like Thunder Force, I think you might get a better looking game. This is not one of those games. Not a lot of parallax. On this level, there's no parallax. In the later levels, there is, but it's not particularly impressive. So we're not talking about a very demanding game graphically. Visuals aren't that great. And a bit later, on later levels, like 3 or 4, you'll see some enemies that juggle fire. And there'll be 4 or 5 enemies on screen, and they will wipe you. They will really bring down the slowdown. There'll be a lot of slowdown in this game, but as disappointing as that sounds for a Genesis game to have, just as much slowdown as Final Fight, which is kind of unbelievable. Okay, that special attack did not do much damage to this guy, so I'm going to have to punch this guy to really pile on damage. Of course, he can get in some cheap shots. I'll take off half my life meter, so that's not going to be good. Oh, I can change directions in midair, so that might be interesting. There we go. So that takes off a bit of damage. There we go. So I lost a life earlier, but I'll get a life back. So this should count as an unlock. I should get Congo Bongo now. Yep. My level bonus. And I get the extra life. Where's my Congo Bongo? Okay, now I'm ticked. Did I have to save the game and then beat it with all 3 characters? Okay, fine. I'll do another recording later where I do Blaze. But that's going to be mainly footage for a later video where I compare all the Streets of Rage games to the Final Fight. Because I think this game is actually one of the more overrated Genesis games out there. Streets of Rage 2 blows this game away in every way that matters, except the music, I guess. Although I think the soundtrack has a lot more variety than this game does. So, while it has a lot of potential, it's the first in a series. Streets of Rage 2 got it right. Though Streets of Rage 3 added a run move, I think it lost a little in terms of the player control. I'll get back to that when I review Streets of Rage 3 later. But I don't think there are that many brawlers on this Genesis collection. Alien Storm is one. I think there's another one I'm forgetting about. But this is pretty much it. And this game was not on the PSP, PS2 collection that came out a few years ago. So this was your first chance to play Streets of Rage, really. Unless you had, like, an emulator or something. Or a Sega CD, because this came with it. But the ability to play Streets of Rage 3, I think this was the first console game that lets you play it unless you actually had a Genesis. I did have a copy of Streets of Rage 2, actually. In fact, I pretty much got a Genesis back in the year 2000 because I wanted to get my hands on Streets of Rage 2. Does it hold up? Streets of Rage 2 kind of does. I'll be the first to say it gets kind of annoying in later stages. I'll explain that when I do the recording on that. I'll let this barrel get in the way of these guys. Ah, that back move. Got her. Again, these guys will slip in behind you, getting some cheap shots. They're incredibly annoying. Was that for points? Don't know what that was about. I've already complained before about the graphics and the artwork. It's kind of hard to tell what's in the posters in the background. It's kind of hard to tell, it's kind of hard to distinguish bricks from other scenery, really. It's just kind of, meh. 16-bit with 8-bit aesthetics. Really mediocre 8-bit aesthetics. Okay. Where is she? There we go. Got her. I've got to punch this guy before I grapple him. Okay, he's down. I might be able to make it out of this level without dying. I'll see. Depends on if I can survive the fire, guys. Oh, by the way, don't even pay attention to the high score table here. There's a high score table that's 100,000 points. As you can see, I could get 100,000 points simply by beating this level. so completing 2 levels without continuing should get you to that 100,000 point level. I'm not going to continue, though. I'm just going to try and get through on 1 life, or 3 lives, the case may be. God, I keep forgetting to drop the pipe. Okay, see? Gonna end it here. Nope, I said new game. If I could switch characters. Okay, well, I'll finish up this recording. But I didn't get my whatchamacallit, so that's disappointing. Didn't get my Congo Bongo. So I'll come back later with Blaze and finish the job. Gah! Yeah, we're in the smooth jazz portion of the soundtrack, so bear with us here. It would be nice if I could do a cyclone move. Ah, see. The hardest level, these guys are pretty fast. And those cheap shots are not helpful. They're a lot faster than you, actually. Got him. See, can't get too close to him. Gah! Got him. Ah! See what I mean about the cheap shots? Okay, we're just gonna end this. We'll see how long it lasts. I guess my next recording will be on level 3. Gotta mix it up a little. Crap. I hope I've made clear that most of these characters have the same moves. I mean, yeah, some are stronger and faster than others, but even Blaze is fast, but I mean, all the basic moves are the same for every character. Not a significant difference between the two. I think it's kind of like Guy and Cody in Final Fight. Not a massive difference. Here come the jugglers. Crap! It's gonna be annoying. Ah! Ah! Okay. Okay. Jump kick took out that axe in midair, which is always cute. And I'm dead. Not continuing. There we go. Okay, let's let the music play us out, and I'll stop this recording. And I'll save it this time. Like I said, the highest score can basically be beaten if you get through level 2.